The salaries of the world's highest paid automotive CEOs and executives have been revealed by Automotive News. I've got to say they blow my mind. It's very strange how much money people like Peter Rawlinson from Lucid have made, $380 million for the CEO of a company that has lost billions of dollars and has come nowhere near to meeting its promises, its expectations, or its actual financial goals. However, what is equally as surprising is how much Mary Barra from General Motors made in comparison to Jim Farley from Ford. In fact, the difference is truly staggering. Have General Motors really performed that well that Mary should be making twice as much as Jim? I don't know. What do you think? Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. Great to see you. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Great to have you. Welcome back. Everyone else. Highest paid automotive industry executives and CEOs. Let's start in first place. Now, I really do want to know what you think about this, because this kind of stuff I find quite shocking. I'm totally okay with Peter Rawlinson, the CEO of Lucid. I'm totally okay with him making $380 million. That probably sounds crazy. This is US dollars, by the way, Australians. That's a lot of money. That's more than 500 million. It's more than $500 million. I'm fine with him making that kind of money if the company is doing really well. If he's adding that kind of value to this company, great. I mean, to me, I think value is more important than time. When I say time, I mean the time you work at a job. If you add enough value for the company to increase its worth by, say, billions of dollars, then, hey, you're worth getting paid that much. But I think it's pretty arguable that Peter Rawlinson of Lucid has done that. At this point in time, Lucid hasn't met anyone's expectations, and if anything, it's just lost investors' money. Now, don't get me wrong, things could turn around and change at some point in the future, but I don't think you should enrich yourself to this degree unless the company is doing well. And it's really not. Anyway, Mary Barra was the second highest paid automotive industry CEO in the world in 2022. She made $34 million. However, in 2021, she made $62.3 million. So Mary's salary has dropped by nearly 50%. Now, salary is not really correct. I'm quoting total compensation figures. This includes stock options, etc., etc. But I don't really see how that's relevant. What you made is what you made. And honestly, the reality is here, forms of compensation are complicated. They're kind of intended to possibly confuse us. So we'll just go with the overall money, total compensation. Total compensation for the next highest paid automotive industry CEO in the world was the CEO of Hertz, whose name is Stephen Scherr. He made $29.7 million. James Farley, or Jim Farley as we call him, made only $16.3 million. So Mary made almost exactly twice as much as Jim Farley. Was she worth twice as much as Jim? In fact, she made more than twice as much, a couple of million more. But anyway, my point is here, I'm not convinced that Mary Barra has added that kind of value to the company. All we've heard from General Motors over the past 12 months are excuses on why they continue not to meet their electrification goals in terms of actual sales. I mean, they said they'd have 18 different models of EVs available for sale in October of last year. That time came and went. I really don't think that kind of compensation is really deserved by the CEO of General Motors. Now, if General Motors have a big turnaround and they come out and over the next 5 years of disruption unscathed and the company is able to increase its sales and survive this period, then hey, compensate Mary all she deserves. And I'm sure it'll be a lot more than that. But at this point in time, things are not really looking that great, in my opinion, for General Motors. And I think they've made some very questionable decisions, particularly when it comes to the battery factories and the chemistry they've gone with, which is really a big risk, all in on one type of battery. We're talking about, 4 or 5 battery factories all making the same type of battery chemistry. And while that battery they've been making just happens to have had quite a lot of problems. Anyway, what I find truly remarkable is the comparison between the CEO of Lucid, of course, Peter Rawlinson, who made $370 million, and that of Robert Scaringe, or RJ Scaringe. Now, Rivian, on the other hand, is actually doing quite well this year. It's probably done better than anyone really rightfully expected them to do so. However, Rivian CEO made only $1 million US in 2022, and the year before that only 776,000. There's probably at least 50,000 Americans that made more money than that in 2022. So, RJ Scaringe, hats off to you, my friend. I'm very impressed by not only the way that Rivian has truly turned the company around this year and begun delivering more cars, pivoted away from their battery chemistry to make a more affordable battery with LFP battery chemistry, and been able to introduce new motors to improve the vehicle's efficiency and reduce the price. Rivian doing some really good things. And I didn't really think I'd say that at this time last year, but they really are. Now, next was Henry Fisker, or Henrik Fisker, who made $783,000. However, this dude, who, to be fair, hasn't really done that much yet, I mean, the company hasn't really sold many cars, made a staggering $19.7 million in 2021. 2022, he only made $783,000. But if you put those two numbers together, he still made about $20.5 million over the past 2 years. Next was Elon Musk. Elon actually made $0 in 2022. However, the previous year, his compensation was around $23.5 billion. Yeah, quite a lot of money there. Now, in terms of the highest paid executives, they're made up of primarily Ford and General Motors executives. William Ford made about the same salary, in fact, a bit more than Jim Farley. William Ford is the executive chairman at Ford, and he made $17.7 million. The VP and CFO at Ford, John Lawler, made $7.2 million. The president of Ford Blue made $7 million. The chief advanced technology officer at Ford, John Field, made $5.2 million. And Mark Roos from GM made $12.8 million. Following that, the third highest paid person at General Motors was Stephen Carlisle. And Stephen Carlisle made $5.2 million. That was followed by Paul Jacobson, who is the CFO. He made $4.2 million. And then Douglas Parks was next. He's the Global Product Development Officer. He made $4 million US. So anyway, these are obviously the highest paid CEOs and executives in the automotive industry in North America, not worldwide. If you look at the worldwide numbers, they're kind of interesting because generally European CEOs don't make as much as US-based ones. However, the CEO of Stellantis, Carlos Tavares, usually seems to make about as much as Mary Barra, and he's almost always the highest paid automotive industry CEO, and I'm not really sure why that is. Anyway, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think it's reasonable for the CEO of Lucid to have been compensated to this degree when you compare his enormous salary to the salary of Rivian CEO? Does that kind of make you look at these leaders and think, as I do, one person is leading by doing and not by trying to enrich himself, whereas the other one appears to be more in it for the riches? Hey, maybe I'm wrong. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and thank you for watching.